Predators just don't sit around making hats out of rib cages. They conquered space. But that's not what's on the horizon.
Should I be worried? Riley.
So here's the deal. Even after nearly 40 years in the spotlight, the Predator franchise still has fans scratching their heads over some lingering mysteries. It's like they've been keeping us guessing since day one, right? But now, with Dan Trachtenberg's upcoming Badlands flick on the horizon, we might finally get some answers. Now, we don't have all the details on Badlands just yet, but what we do know is that it's set to shake things up with a futuristic vibe, totally different from Trachtenberg's last hit, Prey. Plus, word on the street is that it's got a kick-ass female lead, and it's not just replacing Prey 2, it's dropping alongside it. Sounds promising, huh? Especially after the mixed bag that was Shane Black's take on the Predator. But here's the kicker. While we're hyped for all the new stuff Badlands is bringing to the table, wouldn't it be epic if it also tackled some of the franchise's biggest mysteries? I'm talking about finally getting some closure on those unanswered questions that have been bugging fans for ages. Now that would be a game changer.
Smelled you since you got here. If I can smell you, if I can hear you.
Speaking of unanswered questions in the Predator universe, let's talk about Dutch. Remember him? Arnold Schwarzenegger's iconic character from the original 1987 flick? Well, it's been ages since we last saw him on screen, and fans have been wondering what the heck happened to Dutch after all these years. I mean, think about it. Despite surviving the chaos of the first movie, Dutch has been MIA from the franchise ever since. And that's kind of unusual, especially considering how later films have delved deeper into government involvement with the Predators. You'd think they wouldn't just let their star eyewitness fade into obscurity. So here's the thing. While Badlands might not be all about Dutch, it'd be a smart move for the movie to shed some light on his whereabouts. Even if it's just a nod or a brief mention, giving fans closure on Dutch's story would be a major win. After all, he's a key player in the Predator saga, and it's about time we got some answers about what really went down with him after that fateful encounter in '87. You know who else could shed some serious light on the whole predatory situation? Detective Mike Harrigan. This guy's got first-hand experience dealing with those extraterrestrial hunters, and he's not one to be underestimated. I mean, he's not just some bystander. He's been knee-deep in government investigations, faced off against multiple predators, and even stepped foot on their ship. So picture this. In the Badlands, Harrigan could be the missing piece of the puzzle, offering up crucial insights into the predator phenomenon. I'm talking about his first-hand accounts, his encounters, everything. His perspective could be priceless for humanity's understanding of these creatures. But here's the kicker. Remember when Harrigan hinted to Adam Baldwin's character, Garber, that the Predators would be back? Well, Badlands could finally answer whether that chilling prediction ever came true. It's a tantalizing thread from the past that's just waiting to be unraveled, and Harrigan could hold the key to unlocking the truth. Speaking of unresolved endings, let's talk about Predators from 2010. Now, that flick took us on a wild ride by whisking the action off Earth for the first time in the franchise's history. But here's the kicker. It left us hanging big time. Remember Royce and Isabel, the survivors who kicked butts and took names? Well, they ended up stranded on some remote planet with no clear way home. Talk about a cliffhanger. Now here's where Badlands could swoop in to save the day. The movie either directly addresses what happened to Royce and Isabel, finally giving us the closure we've been craving, or drops a sneaky Easter egg hinting at their return to Earth. I mean, after everything they went through, it just wouldn't be fair to leave their fate up in the air like that, right? Given the ongoing debate surrounding the Alien vs. Predator movies and their canonicity, especially in relation to the Predator series, it's understandable that fans are hungry for some clarity. Badlands might just be the ticket to finally shed some light on this murky subject. After all, with its fresh take on the Predator universe, the movie could settle once and for all whether the events of AVP are considered part of the canon. But that's not all. Badlands could also help tie up some loose ends from the AVP series, like what really happened to Lex after she faced off against those pesky xenomorphs in Antarctica. And let's not forget the aftermath of AVPR. Talk about a sequel begging for closure. Plus, is the Yutani Corporation lurking in the shadows of the Predator world? Badlands might have the answers. Now, speaking of fitting into the Predator storyline, let's not forget Shane Black's The Predator. While it may have left fans wanting more, there's no denying that it introduced some intriguing plot points. Like, seriously, what's the deal with that Predator killer suit? And what does humanity's gaining access to predatory technology mean for the future? Badlands could pick up where The Predator left off, exploring these questions and adding its own unique spin to the mix. So, whether it's untangling the mysteries of AVP or delving into the aftermath of The Predator, Badlands has the potential to be a game changer for the entire franchise. And hey, who knows? Maybe it'll finally give fans the closure they've been craving all these years. Given the intriguing setup of Prey and its connection to Badlands through director Dan Trachtenberg, it's natural for fans to wonder how the two projects will intersect. After all, Prey left us hanging with those mysterious end credits, hinting at a story that could have some major implications for the Predator universe. So, why the switch to a completely new setting in Badlands? Well, here's the thing. While it may seem like Badlands is ignoring the groundwork laid by Prey, there's still a strong possibility that the two films are more connected than meets the eye. Sure, they might take place in different time periods, but with Trachtenberg at the helm of both projects, you can bet there's some kind of link waiting to be uncovered. Now, whether this connection means we'll see returning characters from Prey is anyone's guess, but considering the critical acclaim that Prey received, it wouldn't be too surprising if some familiar faces made a comeback in Badlands. It's just a matter of how significant their roles will be in the grand scheme of things. While the switch in setting might be unexpected, there's no doubt that Badlands and Prey are tied together in some way. And with Trachtenberg steering the ship, you can bet it's going to be one wild ride. With Prey 2 also on the horizon, the plot thickens even further. I mean, we've got not one, but two projects in the works, both spearheaded by none other than Dan Trachtenberg himself. It's like a double dose of predatory goodness, right? Now here's where it gets really interesting. With both Badlands and Prey 2 in the pipeline, there's a real possibility that these stories are more intertwined than we initially thought. I'm talking about a shared universe. But with the timeline difference between the two, understanding this connection is no walk in the park. Still, the idea of these two movies sharing a universe is enough to get any Predator fan's heart racing. And who knows, maybe we'll get some subtle Easter eggs sprinkled throughout, hinting at a larger narrative at play. But regardless of how it all pans out, one thing's for sure, Badlands' link to Prey and its upcoming sequel is absolutely crucial. It's like the glue holding this whole Predator universe together, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. And let's not forget one of them, the biggest head-scratchers in the Predator universe. Why did these Yautja folks only ever send one Predator at a time? I mean, sure, the whole lone hunter vibe adds to the suspense and all, but it does leave us wondering, doesn't it? Especially when you consider that we've seen multiple Predators in action before, like in Predator 2 and Alien vs. Predator. So, what gives? Why don't they team up more often, especially when facing off against formidable foes? And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below.